40 watt amps have been the perfect amps for me for many years. I do love the tone of a good Tweed Deluxe, but if you use something like that with pedals, it might start to limit when you're pushing it too hard. So the headroom of a 40 watt amp is just something that really works for me. I had a Marshall Super Lead about 15 years ago, but I almost never use it, so I sold it pretty quickly. I had basically written off 100 watt amps because I thought they were too loud and too clean, but in my time at Max Guitar, I started using the 2 Rock 100 watt models and I really liked the classic reverb signature and the traditional clean. Yes, they were loud but not ear piercing, it kind of filled the room really well, so I got the 100 watt itch and that needed scratching. So I asked you guys on Instagram for some recommendations, and there were a lot of those that really helped me along because there were amps on that list that I had never heard of before or that I hadn't even considered. There was a lot of 2 Rock on the list: Marshall, Mesa Barba, Seriatone or Seriatone, Victory, and I eventually decided the amp should have one channel with simple controls, a built-in reverb and an effects loop. My Boss Tube amp expander has an effects loop, but I'd love to have one in the amp itself as well because I use these a lot. Pedals by Peace Hill Effects, and this is a Steel String Singer 2 preamp. You can run this straight into the power section of your amp by plugging it into the effects loop return, bypassing the amp's preamp, giving your tone a different flavor. There were a few amps on the list that met my demands and I narrowed it down to 2 models, namely the Victory V140 Super Duchess and the 2 Rock Traditional Clean. And because my friends are awesome, I was able to borrow both of these amps for this video. I posted a short clip on my Instagram feed announcing this video and somebody DM'd me they were surprised I didn't pick the 2 Rock Classic Reverb Signature. Well, that amp is still very high on my wish list and I will definitely have one someday, but to me that amp has the chime of a 40 watt amp but with more headroom, and that's a very simple description for such a harmonically rich amp. But in this case I'm looking for a clean beast, and that is how I came up with these 2 amps. In the last week I've been playing them extensively, trying them with different guitars, running all kinds of overdrives and fuzz pedals in them to see how they react, and it almost drove me crazy. When I had a killer sound on one and I just got lost in the moment, I thought, well, this is the amp I need. Then I plugged in the other one and it surprised me in a whole nother way, so it was a little nerve-wracking. But at this point I'm leaning towards one model, but I'm not gonna say which one just yet. First I will show them individually, just a strat and an overdrive pedal and a fuzz pedal, and then I'm gonna play something with 4 different guitars so we can truly A/B them. And I haven't done that before, so we're gonna go over the results together. And I'm hoping that by the end of this video I will have made up my mind on which amp to get. Okay, starting with the traditional clean. Controls are treble, mid and bass with switches where you can actually boost that frequency a little more. Gain, master, send and return for the reverb. To me, send is decay and return is reverb volume, but I could be mistaken. To me it sounds that way. And the presence control, and on the back you'll find another switch to switch it to 50 watts instead of the 100 watts it's at now. Maxwell Strat going into Third Stone by Burkos Effects, Torpedo Dane. And I have the GFI Synesthesia set to harmonic tremolo. Maybe I'll engage it, maybe I won't. So let's play it clean first. I'll tweak the controls a little bit and then engage some pedals, see how it accepts those. Okay, here we go. Okay, cranking the gain to 3 o'clock. Gets a little hairy, but not a lot. Okay, let's put it back at noon. Really great tone. Bass, switch up. Then middle. And treble. I like them all down. Gives the most neutral kind of EQ response. This. That punch, that is the 100-watt punch I've been looking for. It's glorious. Okay. Thorpe, the Dane. With the boost. Hell yes. Okay, on to the Victory V140. V140. What I forgot to explain is that I am recording with my usual Boss tube amp expander, 2x12 cap, reverb is turned off, going into the Apollo Universal Audio Apollo X4 interface. And all those settings will remain the same throughout this video, so anything that changes is the amp. Also on the pedals I will not be changing anything. Tones? I think it's incredible how these amps, well, I mean, their voice is a bit different, but it's really close. Controls of the V140. Tremolo depth and speed. This one has a built-in tremolo, which I will probably never use. Then a master volume, reverb tone. The reverb is maxed out at the moment, the reverb volume. The reverb is not as loud as on the Turok, and I think it's lacking a bit of volume, but I can work with it. Reverb tone makes reverb brighter or darker. Well, EQ controls bass, middle, treble, and preamp volume. And then there are two switches. One controls voice. There are two voices in there, with voice 1 kind of like being a Fender tone, and voice 2 is a more British Marshall tone. And then there is the mid-kick switch with 3 positions, mid-kick off and mid-kick 1 and 2. Turn the EQ controls a bit. Dial it back a notch. And then voice 2 sounds like this. And voice 1. Mid kick, position 1. And position 2. I will stick with mid kick off. incredible, glorious amp, glorious amp. Let's turn on the Dane. Boost. Fuzz. Fantastic. Okay. This is in a nutshell what I've been doing this past week. Just going back and forth and trying different pedals and going out of my mind. All right, let's do some true ABing. I'm gonna record some stuff on different guitars. I'm gonna try and play exactly the same things on both amps. Just a clean channel, I think. Maybe I'll change my mind, but my intention is to do just a clean amp, and I'm gonna load up the audio files and we can truly hear what's going on between these two amps. I cannot wait. Okay, so I've been listening back these clips I've just played. Here it comes. so close. They sound so good. Both these amps are killer. Here we go, number 2. Victory has a little more sparkle, but I think that's EQ. I think you can dial that in the Turok as well, or make the Victory a bit darker. Okay, number 3. I realize I haven't turned on the delay when I was playing the Turok. Okay. Reminder, stick to your plan. Number 4. I'm blown away by both of these amps. I think I'm gonna take a short stroll outside to think things over a bit. I'll be right back. Why the V140? Well, it simply sounds fantastic and it's so close to the Turok. It worked really well with all the different guitars, just like the Turok. The EQ is a little more sensitive though, which makes it a little harder to dial in, but we're talking seconds here. The Turok has a much louder and lively reverb though, it splashes and it sings. And the V140 can splash too, but it's just not loud enough for me. For a lot of players it will be, but I do like my reverb very much. It's not a deal breaker though, because the Boss Tube amp expander has fantastic reverb, which I can dial in if the V140's reverb is just not loud enough. And I also still have my trusty GFI Skylar. But in the core tones, both these amps perform really well, and they both have the depth and the punch I've been looking for. Another main reason is pricing. The Turok prices have recently been bumped up, and it was after I decided I wanted one of these amps. So with an unfavorable dollar to euro conversion rate and more expensive shipping, the traditional clean would come in at 4,750 euros. While the V140 goes for 1,700 euros in Germany, and that is a 3,000 euro price difference. And I don't want to start a whole discussion on pricing, because you know, things cost what they cost, and I would be willing to spend this much on an amp. But at this point in my life, there's no way I can justify spending 3,000 euros more on an amp, because it's easier to dial in the EQ and it has better reverb. My B camera, a Sony a6500, which is 6 years old at the moment, will need replacing this year. I would love to invest in new and better lighting, so there are other investments I need to make as well this year. And I still haven't found the funds to build a studio, because I'm still shooting videos in my living room. So if you have the funds and money is no issue at all, go with the traditional clean, because you will not be disappointed. But if you're a bit on a budget or just want to buy other stuff as well, go with a V140, because it's stellar as well. You can buy a fantastic guitar or throw together a killer pedal board for 3,000 euros. But in their core tones, I think these amps are really worthy opponents, which is crazy given the vast price difference. Suffice to say, both these amps sound absolutely glorious. And someday there will be a wet dry rig for me with a V140 and a Turok Classic Reverb signature, but in the meantime I will be enjoying the V140 very much. If you want to see more of it, please consider subscribing to my channel, and if you want to support my work directly, you can do so on Patreon, where you can find all kinds of exclusive content. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye.